What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have another Lego random minifigure showcase, but it's only one figure. Today we have Popeye the Sailor Man. Now, I've been planning on making this dude for a while. Of course, this is the other figure that I was talking about in the Beavis and Butthead video. But of course, this guy, in my personal opinion, I think looks much better, paint job, sculpt, and everything much better than Beavis and Butthead. Sorry, because of course, as you guys can see, Beavis and Butthead, if you look at them, they are really good, very good, even. There's just problems with them, like there's a bunch of problems, and as you guys can see, the paint is really sloppy. However, Popeye does have a little bit of paint slop on him, but he looks infinitely probably better because I actually like Popeye a lot. He's really cool. I used to watch it with my grandpa, and it was really fun to watch. He kind of introduced me to the show and stuff, and it was just really funny to watch the show. And yeah, of course, without further ado, let's get on with him. So of course, as usual, here is the preview sculpt of what the head looked like, and if you guys are looking at it, yes, that was this head. Of course, if you always know when you sculpt something and then you look at the final design, I mean, look at Beavis and Buttheads. You didn't even know who they were. They were just a bunch of slopping, just a bunch of sculpting on a cylinder, which same thing was actually with him. He is used with a cylinder as well. Of course, I already compared how big the cylinders are. They're about this big, so yeah, his head used to be this, and then I sculpted on top. It's not this piece, of course, because I'm holding it in my hand. It was actually a great piece. But besides the points, of course, the painting is another duty in the sculpting, because sculpting is like number one. Of course, you have to make it look like him. When you look at it, though, you're going to see that it doesn't really look like him that much, but as soon as you paint it and you start to add the characteristics of the character you're trying to make, you're going to really see that, whoa, this is turning out really good. Unless you didn't do a good sculpting job and you don't do a good paint job, then the figure is not going to look that good. And it's always good never to waste sculpting, so you always use it, because, of course, that's what I don't like at all about sculpting figures, is that Beavis and Butthead, that's why Butthead I was getting super nervous over, is I didn't want to waste sculpting, because as you guys can see here, this is pretty much as much sculpting as I was using. It didn't look like this, it looked much more weirder, but this is as much sculpting I was using that I was going to throw away. And of course, I do kind of waste sculpting a little bit, as you guys can see here, because of course I try to make these guys, and yeah, I don't like wasting sculpting that much, but yeah, of course, without further ado, let's take a look at him. So, of course, taking a look at the boring parts first, because of course you guys want to see the cool parts first. So yeah, let's just take a look at the boring parts. So of course, painted torso, very simple, but it works very well. Of course, also painted arms. We'll take a look at those in a sec, because they're probably one of my favorite parts. And yeah, of course, painted belts. Of course, to get yellow to pop, you always have to put white over it. So that's why this yellow looks really nice, because I put white over it. As you guys can see, you can kind of see it somewheres on these figures. But blue, used just brown boots, was kind of going to add detail, but didn't decide to because he didn't need it. So starting off with his forearms first. His forearms are probably my favorite part, because once again, here is all the reference. Really, nobody makes Popeye customs, all right? Only one, and it's RB Universe. Of course, as you guys know, he's from the Zerg video and stuff like that. So, of course, I did look at him, and that's kind of, I did look at his video, which, using the Muppet pieces, that was really smart. Of course, I wish I could make all those characters from that video. It's just I can't, because I don't have literally any of the heads that he got from the Muppets, which, of course, making him, he used the Waldorf or whatever head, and it worked really well. It's just, I wanted a much more distinctive head, and the way he did his arms, I'm surprised no one has done this yet, of using Sculpey on top of the arms, because of course I didn't want to do this either on my Popeye figure, because of course I thought his arms are going to be too big, but it works out really well. And of course Popeye is supposed to be kind of goofy, if you would say. And his arms are supposed to be kind of bulging out, because they're filled with mussels and spinach. Of course, there is a spinach accessory. We'll take a look at that in a second. But, of course, painting the anchors, I know they don't look exact. This one's much more tinier, but I don't care. They're cool. Of course, painting blue on top of the black. Of course, these used to be black arms. As usual, just painted the flesh on there. Flesh minifigure hands, but, of course, the best part, the hat. Oh my god, this head was of course the head is the best part. And sculpting this was very, very hard because I used a cylinder. I always knew I was going to use a cylinder for Popeye because his head literally just looks like a cylinder with two balls at the bottom of his jaw and then just a nose and then just a hat, some ears. Of course, there was more than that. I did have to add more sculpty than a cylinder, but it still looks really cool. And I'm very happy. I know that the bottom of this right here looks really strange, but I don't care. I think it looks awesome. Of course, he does have his nose and his pipe. The pipe was made the same way RBM used it, which of course was actually not the same way. It's technically the same piece, but a little different. So of course, what he did is he used this piece, which is found on the dial pieces. I don't know what they're called, but they're used on the switches, which I used it. As you can see, it was too tiny. So what I actually did is took a walkie-talkie and cut the tip of the walkie-talkie off, because of course, as you guys can see, they are kind of the same pieces on top. So I just took that and stuck it in the side of the sculpty and sculpted on top of it. Then I put a little bit of sculpty while this was still drying, and of course, the pipe was the hardest part. Fitting this in and the face not falling apart was the hardest part. So of course, sculpting this on the end of it was very nerve-wracking to me because of course just sculpting it like this looks really difficult. It's just when you sculpt this on top, this front piece just wanted to come out so easily. So what I did is I just sculpted that and then just took a toothpick and just kind of just boom, 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 and then there you go. Just painted black on the inside. Face, really proud of how the face turned out, and yeah, I just really like it. And the ears just are really cool. Of course, you really can't see this one that much, but they still work really well. Now the hats. Oh my god, how did I do the hat? How did I pull this off? So funny enough, of course, this is going to be in the middle of the video. Funny enough, of course, looking in my own collection to find another hat so I could put on a red skull, I was able to find one. So here is the hat that I used for Popeye. Of course, as you guys can see here, you don't really see it anymore. I don't know if you guys can tell that I used it, maybe just like a little bit. But yeah, I think it blended really well. And yeah, I did put some sculpting on top, so this wasn't just it. But if you want to make a Pierce Popeye, then just use this in white, and I think you'll be all set to go. But yeah, that is it, and yeah, time to get back to the video. It's already the shape that I wanted, so I just took that. It's not removable. I did stick it to the sculpty. I could have removed it though, but there would have been a weird gap or something. So yeah, of course, painted the hat white. The yellow dots on the side were done kind of last minute. I just put a white dot right there and stuff, and then did that. And the face looks really awesome, and the pipe looks even better. This guy just turned out really awesome, and yeah, it's very fun. Every time you make a sculpted figure, when you're making it, it's you're very nervous about the whole thing, because when you're sculpting a head or just something really huge like Beavis and Butthead, Oogway, Master Shifu, Poe, Curious George, the one thing you want to do is make it look like the character. Because of course Lego makes molded heads. Yeah, they make Winnie the Pooh, Sonic, a bunch of other ones. Those are just some. But they make them with plastic. Sculpty is hard because Sculpty, you're kind of on a time limit, okay? So say if you're sculpting and you want to go for a walk, you come back, it's dry. And there's one thing that you didn't fix good on it, and it doesn't look good. It's going to be a pain in the butt trying to fix it. And of course, as you guys can see here, this is a piece of Sculpty, and it used to be putty, but now it's stiff. And when it's stiff, there's nothing you can do. All you can do is just rip at it and just be ashamed. So of course, sculpting is super fun, kind of stressful a little bit, but it's very fun in the long run. Now, this last accessory wasn't my idea. It was actually RBM's idea for this. This is his spinach, and I love this really so much to build. Of course, it's just one of these pieces right here, just this kind of cone piece back here. Took this leaf piece and then a green flame. Not the first choice I used, but of course RBM did his, and it looks really nice. And of course when he's squeezing the can, the spinach is kind of popping out. So that's kind of the idea that he was going for. Of course I will leave a link in the description, obviously, because I do want to pay my respects to his, because his is actually the reason why this guy's is actually here. And Popeye's really cool, so I probably would have done him eventually. But as you guys can see, it looks really awesome with his spinach. So yeah, that is going to be it for Popeye the Sailor Man. Of course, make sure you guys like and comment and subscribe. And do you think this figure sucks? I don't care. You can put your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Peace out and bye.